Hi, Verl Workman here, CEO of Workman Success Systems, and welcome to another episode of The Faces of Real Estate. We have a tremendous guest with us today. Bill Burns from Indiana is joining us. Bill is an Indiana native who's always been and called Jeffersonville his home. In fourth grade, he started his first job selling golf balls on the Jeffersonville Elks golf course. Now he's the owner of Southern Indiana's largest RE/MAX office. He's been a realtor since 2001, and it didn't take him very long to figure out he wanted to be a broker owner. By 2006, he owned the office, and he's taken it from there. Most importantly, I love Bill because he's an innovator. He's always looking to do new things in the industry, bring new tools and technology and systems to his agents, and he exemplifies the culture of giving. And that's one of the things that I like most about Bill. Bill, welcome to the Faces of Real Estate. Glad you're here today.
Hey, thank you, Verl. I'm honored to be part of your program today.
Well, this is going to be fun. So for our audience out there that's learning about how agents and brokers are giving back and making a difference in the communities that we have so many opportunities from, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little about you, yourself, your family.
So just geography, Verl said I'm from Jeffersonville, Indiana, about as south as you can go. We're kind of a suburb of Louisville, Kentucky Derby. You probably heard of that. So we're real close to Louisville. I was born and raised here, been married for about 27 years. Have two children. My daughter's 23 and my son just graduated from high school. So he turns 19 in July. So going to be attending the University of Louisville. Been self-employed my entire life. And my wife and I have worked side by side for nearly the full 27 years that we've been together. So wouldn't have it any other way. I'm only successful because she's by me and makes me look good.
I love that. Angie's one in a million, and you're lucky to have somebody like you. Those of us who are entrepreneurs, I call it, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I told my wife when we got married that I'm always going to work for myself, and we'll probably make a lot of money, but we'll probably lose a lot of money. And as long as you're okay losing everything, then we're going to have a great life together. And she's still okay with it. She's still okay with going for it. And that's what makes our marriage work.
Right.
So it's fun to have someone like that on your team. So your son that just graduated, going to Louisville, is he got a real estate in his horizon?
At the present time, he doesn't. He's going to be a civil engineer. But, a funny thing you mentioned that my daughter went to University of Louisville as well. She's been out about 2 years and just back in February decided, saw that the potential of paving her own way and making unlimited income, decided maybe real estate's not as bad as what Dad tried to get me to do 3 years ago. So she got her license in February as well and is now doing real estate and doing quite well at it.
That doesn't surprise me at all. It's good genes.
Yeah.
That's fun to see your kids come in the business, isn't it? Is she on a team or is she doing her own thing?
She's explored opportunities of teams, but she's paving her own way and doing very well. What I think was best is that she was able to go out in the world and experience on her own what happens working for larger corporations and smaller places, and then now coming to work self-employed by herself as a real estate agent.
Yeah, I think when you have life experience, I make my kids work for somebody else for at least 2 years before they can come into our family business because they've got to experience what it's like to work for somebody else. Like have a boss that isn't your parent, and they realize they have to get up every day and show up on time. And if they don't get to keep their jobs. So those are good life experiences. It's fun to see her. I'm gonna follow her and see how she does. I think it's exciting.
So one exciting thing is we get our first grandchild in October. So she's pregnant, and we're excited. A grandson.
Oh, that's awesome. So congratulations. And I just want to throw out there that Verl is a name that isn't used very much. So just throw that out there and put it in the pot and see if you can make that happen for me. None of my kids will.
I'll send it up the flagpole, but I don't think it'll stay there.
Yeah, no, not even in my own house. I have one son that's a Jake Verl, but he won't tell anybody. He says, nope, I don't have a middle name. All right. So Bill, let's talk a little bit about the suburb that you're in. You say you're right on the border of Indiana and Kentucky. That explains, you say Louisville correctly.
Yeah. Yeah. We're right on the border. We get the best of both worlds. We're in a smaller city, about 45,000 people, 46,000 in our city. And then the next adjacent city in Indiana, we're kind of two counties together. So we get to experience everything that Louisville has, but have great living, great cost of living here in Southern Indiana.
So I think that's, I don't think I've ever met anybody from Indiana that I don't like. it's some of the nicest people in the country. When you talk about middle America, it's like that's salt of the earth.
Yeah, the crossroads of America is what they say. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, very cool. So in your community, you have a pretty strong focus in your business and personally about giving back. Tell me a little bit about how you serve your community. What are some of the things you do?
Well, I believe, and we teach this from the top down here at Remax First, that giving back is part of our DNA and it's paramount. You know, the community is giving to us, so we've got to give back to them as well. So we do a lot of different things for giving back. We do things local and we do things on a national level. We kind of divide it up. Locally, we do quarterly blood drives. We typically have done those until recently here in the what's happened, but we do quarterly blood drives. We give back to food banks in our local market. We sponsor Little League teams. We do a car show that raises funds for our largest charity, which is Children's Miracle Network. Now it's very dear to our heart. Our Children's Miracle Network hospital we sponsor is in Indianapolis, but all the dollars that we raise go directly to that hospital, and there's no administrative costs. So, you know, it's nice to know that you're raising money for a charity that's using all the money for care of the people in the hospital, and they don't turn anybody away for, you know, basis on how they can pay or anything. So they take anybody. So we do several events for them, the car show. We'll do stuff in the office periodically. You know, we might have cook hot dogs for the agents and hamburgers and put a basket out, you know, to take donations for Children's Miracle Network. But we really do this event called Night at the Races, which is a great event. Raises about $20,000, $30,000 a year. It's kind of like kind of Derby themed. We actually moved the date a little closer to the Kentucky Derby, so it was kind of there with it. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to have the event this year, but it's on the books for August since Derby's gotten pushed to September. But it's kind of like stick horses, where you sell sponsorships for the races, and then those persons that buy the horses that are the sponsors of the 7 horses in the race get to ride the horse based on rolling dice that are in a box. And then you move up. So it's really a fun, engaging opportunity. We do large hand Texas Hold'em in between. We have a couple ladies that'll do, we do what they call pari-mutuel betting. So you could actually win money if you bet on the person that's riding the horse. Then the winner out of those 7 races, they go into the last race. We auction off those horses, and that brings big money at the end. People want to buy that horse because they get 50% of what's raised. So it's a tremendous event. We host it here at a local hotel. We have a DJ. We have food that we serve there. But we raise, you know, anywhere from $20,000, $30,000 in a matter of 4 or 5 hours that night. And we've done it for almost 10 years. So, you know, the preparation gets a little easier each year. So we just enjoy giving back to our community.
I love that. What kind of an impact does that have, first of all, on your offices, on your Remax agents?
Well, everybody loves to be part of the event. And we actually have other agents from other companies that'll be part of it. Our vendors, community leaders will come to the event as well. So, and we're doing lots of advertising on social media and getting things out there. So it really helps position us in the market as a company that really cares and wants to give back to the community.
I love that. So this isn't one of my questions, but it is for you. And you know, as you've made an impact, you've probably had an opportunity to meet some of these miracle children. Anybody stick out in your mind of their stories of things where you felt like you've made an impact in someone's life? Yeah, well, my biggest story would probably be, I have an employee right now that's grandson spent at least a year or almost a year with cancer at Riley's Hospital, Children's Miracle Network Hospital in Indianapolis. And they provided exemplary care, but he's went to another hospital now to try to get some different care. But that's probably my closest. And then I had a vendor a couple years ago. His daughter would not have survived had it not been for the Children's Miracle Network Hospital in Indianapolis. She needed a series of 6 heart surgeries throughout her life because something in her heart wasn't developing, but they could help it develop. And she's only here because of Riley Hospital and Children's Miracle Network. So those are my 2 great stories. You know, they have Riley children that'll come around and come to our events and tell stories, but I like the personal stories, knowing that our money that we raised here local helped those people. You know, we can put a face to a name. That's got to be so rewarding.
Yeah. So
I think it's so cool. I remember my first exposure to Riley Hospital was, it had to be almost 20 years ago, when I was doing an event for Remax of Indiana, and they brought Miracle Children to talk on the stage. I remember being one of the next speakers thinking, I don't want to follow that, 12-year-old little girl, because everybody in the audience was standing and crying. I was in the back wiping my eyes as they were telling their story of how the agents giving had impacted their survival. It was humbling to be part of such a amazing organization that has such a strong focus on giving back. It's been really cool. It's been fun to watch that. I'm glad you're still involved with Riley's.
yeah, I think it's worthwhile to mention. A lot of companies give big to Children's Miracle Network. Walmart, Sam's, they're one of the biggest, but they're writing corporate checks. They're just writing a check and turning it over. If you look at what Remax has done for Children's Miracle Network, it's the brokers and the agents. Remax Corporate, have no doubt, is giving some to them, but majority of the money is coming from the local agents that are selling homes in your market through like the Miracle Home Program.
So what is that? Tell me more about that program. How is that set up?
So the Miracle Home Program is where an agent can give back per transaction side. Each transaction has a buy sell side, so they can give any denomination. The suggested is $25. And we usually give it in the name of the buyer or the seller. And then we send them a miracle card to let them know that money went to your local Children's Miracle Network hospital. So
I think that's really cool. And I think it's great that you have so many. How many of your agents participate in that?
We've got about 70 agents, and we've probably got about 75% participation. Pretty high.
Yeah, that's really great.
But like I said in the beginning, I think it starts with the leadership. If the leadership believes in it, and like I said, we think it's part of our DNA, then people want to get on board. I also think it's good to mention we do a lot of, like I said, raise money for these different charities and write checks. But I think it's good that you get involved and use your talents. I serve on the local city council here. I've served on several other boards. A lot of our agents serve on nonprofits here. So there's always somewhere. It doesn't take money to make an impact. You can make an impact by using your time and talent.
Yeah, you mentioned that you do yard sales and raffles and other things. Is that all with the same charity, or do you have other projects that you're involved in?
Most of the time when we're raising money, we usually focus it around Children's Miracle Network for the most part. The other charities, we'll just do some donations or volunteer our time and talent to them.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. So this is just a real question. As I'm thinking about your brokerage, and you've got your 70 agents. When you bring new agents in, how long before they're with you do you introduce them into the concept of giving?
Oh, day one. It's part of our onboarding process. We talk about the Miracle Card Program, Miracle Home Program, and ask them if they'd like to participate. And then if they choose not to, then depending on when they join, we hit it pretty hard at our annual award ceremony. So they would learn more about it at that as well, which is where we get a lot of participation. We generally have somebody come down from Riley Hospital and speak at that as well.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. It's culturally, I don't think giving, for someone that's just a single agent or someone that wants to get started giving back, how would you recommend they, start? Whether, maybe they don't have a children's hospital close to them, or, how do I create that culture? Your daughter's coming into the business. She's an individual agent. How do you get her to think that way? Millennials, I found, want to be part of something bigger than themselves.
Right. Well, I think, like I said, if you're in an office that has leadership that wants to give back, you're going to want to be part of something that's helping others. If not, then, seek out somewhere where you can serve. I'm sure you have a local food pantry, school organizations. There's lots of ways that you can serve on boards and make an impact in your community.
And you suggest starting with a nonprofit, finding someone who's not in it for a gain.
That's correct. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, Bill, I think it's really great. What are your plans going forward? Do you have plans to increase your giving or to do some other things? What's on the horizon for you?
Well, we generally always increase our giving every year. We usually land in the top 3 of giving for Remax to Children's Miracle Network in the state of Indiana. So we always want to try to increase our giving. Little concern this year with what's happened in the world. Our giving is going to be a little down, I think, but I think that's going to be across the board. So, think about giving a little, for those out there that do help organizations or haven't, they could use your help now. Some of them are hurting and are losing some donations. So now's a great time to think about giving back and helping others.
I totally agree. I couldn't echo that more. Well, we appreciate so much you being part of our interview today and for sharing what you're doing to make a difference in your community. On behalf of the Faces of Real Estate and all of us at Workman Success Systems, I wish you continued success so you can continue to make a difference in your community and the lives of the people you serve. So, Bill, thanks for being here, and we wish you the best.
Thank you so much.